What up, though? Sec G in the house. What it is? We got ourselves a liquidation sale over at Vision Comics and Oddities. They're gonna have probably a 50% off sale that first weekend of July for 4th of July weekend, but for the month of June, they got their liquidation sale. It's like a play on words because they have so many leaks in their ceiling. I don't know what the deal is with them and their landlord. It used to be they would have 2 or 3 leaks this past year, but now, like the past 3 months, I'd say a good 3 months, it's fucking nasty. Somebody could help that store out. It's off of Federal Boulevard, southwest of Denver. Vision Comics and Oddities. I don't know what's going on with them, but their landlord is charging them rent while their place is getting pretty nasty. So, half off sale. It's a great shop. Vision Comics and Oddities. I wouldn't mention it. Wasn't worth it. 50% off. So if anything is under $20, it's 50% off. This is just something to check out that I got. I like the name Azarillo and Russo. I looked inside. I wasn't impressed with all the art, to be honest. Especially this type of art here. Illustrated by Pat McKeown. I'm not into that cartoony look for horror. Maybe you guys are, but whatever. But yeah, I just got this as a reader copy to check out the Brian Azzarello and Eduardo Risso story. Haven't read it yet, but if you're a fan of 100 Bullets, you'll know what I'm talking about. That type of noirish, dark, kind of a Twilight Zone type combination of Azzarello and Risso. So I got that reader copy. Also got this reader copy of another noir type story. I don't know if I'd say so much Twilight Zone, but I know it's more like noirish type crime, drama, dark. But this is by the team that brought you that first Punisher limited series. Stephen Grant and Mike Zack. I just found this randomly. I'm not sure how many issues it is. I was kind of getting a John Romita Jr. vibe from a lot of this illustrating. Did he ink it or something? The inker is Dennis Brodier. Mike Zack, Stephen Grant writer. So this guy is being let out of prison. That's how it's starting. And it's going to go from there. We go from prison to a church. We got all the institutions. Whatever. Yeah, we even got barroom fighting or alleyway fighting, whatever. Yeah, all the institutions. So, we'll see how this turns out. Tomb of Dracula, issue number 67. I believe it's out of 1978. This Tomb of Dracula comic book, it's Marv Wolfman doing the writing and Gene Colan doing the art. This ran for a total of 70 issues, actually, altogether. Nice cover. The cover really looks well. Same thing with the back. The pages aren't bad. They had a few more of these, but they were banged up. I mean, I'm talking like brown pages, not Mark Jewelers or anything like that. Here we go. Here's the beginning. Gene Colan, people. Tom Palmer doing the inks. Tom Palmer is a name that I've mentioned often. Him and Joe Sinnott, a couple of common inkers. And yeah, I haven't read this. We've got an appearance right here. I think it's Dracula's daughter, Lilith. Collectible Dracula comic book from the Bronze Age. Now these next three, so this is all 50% off. All these comics were like $3 or $4 each. So we're talking $1.50 to $2 a piece. Street Fighter Dose. April 1994. May 1994. And June 1994. That's right. It's brought to you by Masaomi Hamzaki. Capcom. But there's your name right there. Not familiar with Street Fighter. Not familiar with Japanese comics. Not much. Just stuff that I've documentaries, reviews, things that I've read on and observed online. But just thought I'd get these because it was a sale. And if I'm not knowledgeable in something, then I'm going to try and buy it super cheap. Or I'm not that much of a fanatic, which I think is the best way to go. Yeah. So there you go. Issue 1. That's pretty cool. Issue number 2, though, isn't it? Look at this. Cool covers, gotta say. First 3 issues of Street Fighter 2 Tokuma Comics. Another Japanese influenced comic book. This time taking a Western concept, Spider-Man. That's right, Spider-Man the manga. This is issue number 10. This Spider-Man the manga ran for a total of 31 issues, and this 10th issue is out of 1997. I've shown a few of these in some previous hauls, and it's always cool to happen upon a comic book like this, so especially when it's in nice condition. Yeah, I like Free Comic Book Day books that are iconic, classic. Since it's so popular, I decided to add it to my collection of Free Comic Book Day books. I can't say that I'm a big fan of manga and anime. I'm not against it. I just only got so much time to fit in so much. This is out of 2016, by the way. True Believers. Marvel Knights, Luke Cage, Hero for Hire. Yeah, got it for $1. These next 2. This True Believers, first appearance of Luke Cage, Power Man. That one there on the left came out in 2018. That is a reprint from 1972's Luke Cage, Hero for Hire. Rest in peace, John Romita Sr. Artist on this cover for the first appearance of Luke Cage. First appearance of Wolverine. That's right. Reprint of Hulk 181. True Believers out of 2017. And that reprint was originally from 1974. I just got this. I've never read any of these Uncanny X-Force comics. Never read any of them. I always thought that the covers by Ribic were really cool, but they always sold out, or when I found them, they would always be at least, like $5, $8, $10. I'm just like, for what story? I'm sure the story's cool, but historical significance wise, I don't think this is even on anybody's radar, Uncanny X-Force, other than the fact that these Assad Ribic covers are dope. Dalmatian School Coast represent. Assad Ribic. The Dalmatian Coast represent. This ran for 4 issues. I mean, I don't know if I'd say it ran. I don't know if it was monthly or anything. I mean, it's a Pizza Hut promo. So I don't know if they gave these out randomly or if they actually had them in a specific order each month, but there's 4 issues. I know that issue 2 here, which happens to still be in its poly bag. This is a gatefold cover. So it folds out in the front and it folds out in the back there. That happens to be a Sabretooth's hair. Mane, whatever the fuck you want to call it. Pizza Hut promo comic out of 1993. That cover is actually by John Herbert. Bill Anderson doing the inks. And the story inside, it's by the same artist team, but it's written by Scott Lobdell. Probably just made some decent money for doing some quick little promo story. It's about Wolverine and Jubilee skyjacked by Sauron and Sabretooth. Sounds good. Let's get into some classic X-Men, shall we? Oh yeah. This is classic X-Men issue number 2. And it's got white pages. I checked it out inside. This was from October 1986 cover date. And this is a reprint of X-Men issue number 94. It's an Art Adams cover. Now these classic X-Men comics, they ran with the title Classic X-Men as of 1986 for 45 issues. And then from 46 onward, it was called X-Men Classic. Don't you know? X-Men Classic, issue number 10, Newsstand, white to tan edges. Yeah, it's like white pages, but kind of tan around the side. All these stories, by the way, are going to be written by Chris Claremont. And that's David Cockrum that did that last issue as well as this one right here. John Bolton did the follow-up stories in the back. They would add these extra stories, like 10 pages. That would be like a supplemental tale. Classic X-Men, issue number 18. You know, I'm looking through this just for the hell of it, you know, because I've had some bad experiences, you know, water damage and shit like that. And you're just like, fuck, why didn't I open up the comic first? This is in great condition, right? So, even on the back there, no spine ticks. Fucking digging it. Even though the pages have this tan edge here, as you can see, it's a little tan. Get a little sun there. But it's a Mark Jewelers. So what is Mark Jewelers? Mark Jewelers, first of all, it's an insert that people say, oh, I can just look at the top of the comics and I can always see my Mark Jewelers. That's how I know. Some shop told me that, like, can you tell? Can you tell that's a Mark Jewelers in there? Really? You can? Fuck that. You're lying if you can. All right, so here's Mark Jewelers. The deal with this is that they were sold on military bases. So there's this insert here that makes them extra collectible for those extra geeks and salesmen that look for an excuse to mark something up. So now that I got this on the cheap, I'll be one of those salesmen that mark this comic up. And it's intact. The form's still there. And on military bases, I don't know, so that they can keep the attention of their girlfriend or their loved ones, whatever, back home, they would send them this pseudo jewelry that, I guess, thanks to the QFC channel, we don't have Mark Jewelers anymore. Because I think Mark Jewelers ran until, like, QFC started, right until the late 90s. All those, like, home shopping network channels came on the scene. They didn't need to have Mark Jewelers. So, but yeah, I think Mark Jewelers inserts ran up until like the year 2000. I don't know specifically when, but until late 90s. So I got one Mark Jewelers right there. And that issue 18 is in February 1988, cover date. Nice little Art Adams cover there. Cool little Magneto image. But that original printing is X-Men 112. And that is out of August 1978. I mean, shit, I showed you the Mark Jewelers, but let me show you some of the content, shall I? Because we're talking Chris Claremont, John Byrne. Gotta show off some of that artwork, right? It's outstanding. Very anti-American. It's too interesting to exist today. Yeah, for like the past, 15, 20 years for that matter. Not just today. Not just the past 5 years. For too long. This is outstanding. Really. Who's the inker here on John Byrne's artwork? Is it Terry Austin? We got here Classic X-Men Tales. We got writer. Letter is Tom Orzechowski. I met him. He's a really cool guy. Very famous letter on the X-Men comics. Inker is Terry Austin for the first 20 pages, and then the last like 3. Okay, right, John Bolton, 21 to 23, because that's the supplement story. But John Bolton here, sample of his artwork. So this story in the back came out when Classic X-Men was published. So that would have been like, what did I say? Yeah, 1988. For this particular issue. So yeah, the original printing of issue 112 was in 1978. Issue 27. That's right, X-Men 121. So 120 is what the first Alpha Flight appearance or cameo, whatever. So we got X-Men 121, first Alpha Flight appearance, early Alpha Flight appearance. It's out of May 1979. Cover date is the original printing. Got a little bit of tanning. What do you call that? A sun shadow around the edges. This came out, Classic X-Men, in November 1988. And this cover at this point is by Kieran Dwyer. D-W-Y-E-R. Kieran Dwyer is the cover artist. And yeah, John Byrne is still doing the interiors for this. And yeah, if you're new to the X-Men, there's two names for you: Chris Claremont and John Byrne. Can't imagine anyone watching this being new to the X-Men, but if you are, leave a comment. Let me know if there's any writer-artist combo that you dig or what. Check this out. Another Mark Jewelers and another hot image of Storm. Yeah, so here we go. Early appearance of Alpha Flight. We got North Star. Vindicator. Here's the backup supplement story right here by John Bolton. Not sure what that's about. But yeah. So I just went through and whenever I saw the barcode here in the lower left, I would check out the condition and see if it was worth buying. Like this one, issue 37. It's just a newsstand. Actually, I need to open that one. It's just a newsstand. It's the early part of the Dark Phoenix saga. I think that started with issue number 35. But this particular one, issue 37, came out September 1989. And it is a reprint of X-Men 131 that came out originally in March 1980. Yes, once again, Chris Claremont and John Byrne teaming up, giving you the Dark Phoenix saga. Dark Phoenix saga, oh that's right, there's issue 38. Another newsstand, not a Mark Jewelers. Who's doing the covers is Steve Light. There you go. Dark Phoenix saga. Issue 50. Another newsstand. The rest of these are just newsstands. Pretty cool though, cover. I dig it. Nice job there by Steve Light. Reprints June 1981's X-Men 146. It's a fucking cool cover. Pretty hot Spider-Woman image. She's just doing her thing. Another image by Steve Light. That issue 52 right there is from October 1990, and it reprints 1981's X-Men 148. X-Men 148 had the interiors by David Cockrum, as a matter of fact. Same thing with X-Men 156. That's what this is a reprint of. X-Men 156 came out in 1982, but this classic, X-Men Classic now, because it's issue 46 and later, it's going to be X-Men Classic. That particular issue for 60 came out in June 1991. Loving that Mike Mignola cover. P. Craig Russell is doing the inks on this Mike Mignola artwork for issues 60 and 61. June and July 1991. X-Men Classic, issue 76, Adam Hughes cover. Like almost mint, but you got a spine tick right there, motherfucker, right there. Little indentation, but not color breaking, and that's color breaking though, you know, motherfucker. But besides that, super bright white pages, really nice condition. What year did that one come out? October 1992 is the original printing of that Adam Hughes cover, but it reprints 172. Paul Smith doing the interiors. X-Men Classic, issue number 92. That is a Bart Sears cover. And issue number 94 by Matthew Ryan. Seems like a lot of this styles from the 90s, they all just sort of blend together with me. I don't know who this guy is, Matthew Ryan. Seems like he was hired probably to imitate some of the other Image founders that left Marvel, is my guess. This is a special double-sized issue, don't you know? That's right, because it's a reprint of X-Men 193. Both of them with John Romita Jr. doing the interiors. Check out the white on this. I was really psyched to get this. The X-Men Classic run, like I said, it started with issue 46. It ended with issue 110. I didn't find issue 110 any decent condition that I'd want to keep, but when I found how white this cover was, just real smooth spine, sharp corners, no scuffing on that white spine right there. Then when I opened it up and saw that Barry Windsor Smith interiors, checking out the condition, I was just psyched to get this one. So I bought it. X-Men Classic 109 for like, I don't know, $1.50, $2. Who did this cover? Jay Lee. Don't you know? The last two I got in this sale, didn't have that much to spend. But first, I found this X-Men Classic 108, just a regular direct edition. I don't think there's anything special as far as like key first appearances or any of that bullshit goes. The interior artwork, June Brigman is the guest penciler. Whilce Portacio is the inker. Right, Chris Claremont is still doing the writing. But damn if this didn't at first remind me of Paul Smith for a minute. I don't know, now that I'm looking back at it, I guess not so much, but Paul Smith, he likes those long legs. So we got ourselves here a Nightcrawler story. Check this out a little bit. June Brigman, huh? Yeah, that does kind of remind me of like a combination of Paul Smith and John Bolton, actually. I don't think that these, now, as of 46 to 110, the rest of the X-Men Classic stories, they didn't have the John Bolton backup stories. I think those John Bolton backup stories were in Classic X-Men 1 through 45, right? And then they got rid of the backup story, the supplemental story from 46 to issue 110. It was cool that I saw this because of the towers, the World Trade Center towers. Even though it's in direct, I wish this would have been in at least a newsstand, if not, Mark Jewelers, if you want to buy comics and you really are just like, and I want to know that I can sell it, then make sure to get a comic book that's either a Mark Jewelers, which is what I showed, the ones that have the inserts, the Mark Jewelers have the inserts that you could only buy the Mark Jeweler edition comics on military bases, and they have the barcode. They don't have this square here. It's like a thinner line. Anyway, those barcodes that I'm showing off right here, and you see barcodes like that, you're gonna, chances are, if it's sold on a military base, it's gonna have the Mark Jewelers insert, which is a more of a rare edition. So there's that, and then there's the Canadian price variant. The Canadian price variant, keep an eye out for those two concepts. Canadian price variant, has a different price tag, and the Mark Jewelers. If you really want to go all out, and then if you can't get something that's Mark Jewelers or a Canadian price variant, then at least get it in that newsstand barcode, and try and get those pages as white as possible. It's okay to pass on tan pages. I was just enjoying the sale, and I don't know, maybe some of these I'll just give away eventually. I'm not sure. Probably. But if you want to like really worry about flipping something, or just not necessarily flipping, but just making sure you can sell your shit later, those are some concepts to pay attention to. Get those pages white. If you can't get it as a Mark Jewelers or Canadian price variant, then just get the Newsstand. And for any of those types of editions, if you can get something not just autographed, don't just get an autograph. Never just get an autograph. If you're a fan, just get an autograph. If you're gonna, if you can afford more, like when I met Steranko, I could not afford more, so I just got that signature. But you want to have somebody remark something, you really do, for an artist. If it's a writer, then just get some type of CGC or CBCS signature guarantee. That's like the best way to guarantee a signature, is through some type of grading company. Some of the accompanying certificates can work as well, but it's just just depends on the circumstances. X-Men Classic, issue 50 Newsstand, right? So now I got this one just for the novelty of the World Trade Center towers. I'd like to just replace this with a Newsstand one day, or a Mark Jewelers, because as a direct, I'd be fooling myself if I think anybody would ever be interested in this. Not as far as selling it. I'm talking about being able to sell. People will always be interested in enjoying it for the artwork and reading it. But as far as trying to get rid of my comics to make some type of money, if not just break even, getting something in direct after like 1983, good luck. World Trade Center Towers. Got this one. This is my second copy of having this issue bagged. This was a great price. I just got this for $5. This was a fucking sweet deal. Unopened poly bag of 1 year after 9/11. The 9/11 tribute issue from Wizard Magazine. This is issue 133. Yes. What does it say? Yeah, it says 133 right there. Cover 1 of 2. John Cassaday. He was doing the art on the Captain America comic that came out during this era. The new Marvel era. Like the year 2000 to 2004, give or take a year. Unofficial era. It's like a little mini renaissance. I always push this era. I love it. Just because this was one of the last time comic book stories were based off of other comic book stories. After like around 2006 and later, everything that they were doing was to set up for the Disney buyout. Spider-Man and Wolverine joining the Avengers was bullshit. It's just not for me. It doesn't fit their character. It doesn't fit their history. It's a fun concept because as a fan, it's something you would like to see. And so that's who they hire at these companies now. I mean, for decades, they've been hiring fans, but it's getting worse and worse. Yeah. So the beginning of the end, 9/11, right? Today, I'm getting my comments removed. If I mention Dr. John Cambell, if I mention that guy's YouTube channel, and I also mention, maybe this video will get banned. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe my channel will get blocked. But and all my comments now for the past going on about a month now, whenever I mention how fucked up things are, and if I ask somebody, did you see the video by Dr. John Cambell about how the World Health Organization wants to regulate everything we do? They can fucking test our sewage water, how often, however they want, and other resources they have access to test, so they can make up reasons to put us on lock, so they can make up reasons to regulate our behavior, have their misinformation unit. I mean, damn, Dr. John Cambell has got his video about the British Army's fucking misinformation, like Department of Truth. It's fucked up. It's a real department in the Army in the United States and Britain and other countries now. They are regulating what we say and what we do. And it's completely fucked up. And that is what we thought the Patriot Act was going to be for. And that's what we were told it wasn't going to be used for, or wasn't going to lead towards it. And that's where we are now. Completely fucked up. As a collector, getting these 9/11 comics is fun, just from that collecting perspective, this phenomena that's going on. As far as a collector goes, how much future is there for this hobby? considering we're always going to have a pandemic every 10 years. So I guess, I mean, as far as selling stuff online, we know that the price for everything will shoot up, but that is only because people were subsidized. They got their money for not being able to work because of the shutdowns. Is that going to happen again? There will always be shutdowns. There will always be pandemics. We will always be regulated. So, what good is collecting comics? What is the future of anything if we're not allowed to have job stability and we're not allowed to do anything? We can't even say anything. I can't fucking leave comments on YouTube. Most of my comments get auto removed, even if I don't mention Dr. John Cambell. It's pretty frustrating, and I look at it as it's how the system is, and then eventually you get sick of it and you get weaned off of that, and then I'm the type of person that isn't allowed to be on YouTube. So that's that. That's how it is. Not into YouTube, dogs. Getting sick of it, getting sick of just the whole... It's more of a platform for... I don't know, man, like for sellers. I think it's either a platform for sellers or for a platform for people that just want to make videos and videos, and this is how you got to make a video, and this is how videos are supposed to be. And that's it. There's really no two-way street. It seems it's too one-sided for me. I could probably do one more video. I got a stack of some more newer comics, but as far as my back issues go, I've just got these right here that are left. Aliens Book 1. This is out of 1990. This is the first printing of the hardcover for the first Aliens series. If you are among, I think, the 5 people that have seen any of those Aliens videos that I've done, you'll know that there are 3 Aliens limited series by Mark Verheiden. The first one has art by Mark Nelson, and that is the first appearance of Newt and Hicks in comic books. This story came out a couple years after the Aliens movie, and it takes place like 10-12 years after the Aliens movie. So nobody wants to talk to Hicks because of what happened to him over at Hadley's Hope. He had the acid scar on his face, and everybody's weirded out by him. They don't know what the hell's going on with these aliens. Newt is like 12, 13 years older. She's in her early 20s, I guess, and she's in an insane asylum. They've got her committed, and when Hicks finds out that she's going to basically be lobotomized, he frees her, and they end up, or Hicks has Newt stowed away on this vessel that is being sent to the alien homeworld to retrieve a queen. Then there's 2 more series. The first series that this is compiled is 6 issues that are by Mark Verheiden and Mark A. Nelson. But that first story with Hicks and Newt. The next 2 stories in the Aliens Female War trilogy of stories, they're all written by Mark Verheiden. That one, that 4-issue limited series, Dennis Pavias does the covers and the interior artwork. All the panels are painted, as a matter of fact, in that second story. The last panel of Aliens Nightmare Asylum, that's the title of the second Alien story, that 4-issue limited series. The last panel, the last issue, is the first appearance of Ellen Ripley in Dark Horse Comics. And then the last 4-issue limited series of Female War, Earth War. That one has those John Bolton covers. Sam Keith did the interiors. So we got 3 limited series of the Female War. The first one came out in 1988. It was 6 issues by Mark Verheiden, and it's compiled together for the first time in 1990 in this hardcover. Still has the dust jacket, really nice VF condition. So I grabbed it. Got a great deal on it. So this, 30 Days of Night, this came out as part of the Science Fiction Book Club in 2007, and this combines both the 3-issue limited series. This compiles together This edition collects the original 30 Days of Night story and the sequel, 30 Days of Night, Dark Days. Written by Steve Niles, art by Ben Temple-Smith. Dope cover. Yeah, I knew it was the beginning of the end, just in general for society when Twilight, that movie series, came out. Yeah, anything with edge, not allowed to have. This was probably the last thing that had edge in the United States, I think. Historically, I think, is that right? Steve Niles story, Ben Temple-Smith. Yeah, the 2007, this hardcover. This is one of my favorite horror comics. I really like that combination of Steve Niles and Ben Temple-Smith. This is part of that whole renaissance I'm talking about, that new Marvel era from like the year 2000, 2004. Like I said, give or take a year. Doesn't have to be from Marvel, but it was like a mini renaissance. People were taking just old concepts and just revamping them, modernizing them, expanding upon them, just trying new things like this. I mean, look at this. You got a small village here, small town in Alaska where there's darkness for 30 days. So who wouldn't do a vampire story taking place in Alaska? Like, darkness for 30 days. Yeah. There's that scene where Aben kills the vampire. Punches right through the guy. Yeah, right here. And that's at the end where he turns, disintegrates. Ziggy Marley and Jim Moffat, Marijuanaman. Stories by Joe Casey. Ziggy Marley's the concept behind it, the money behind this one-shot story. Extra oversized edition. Image Tough Gong. This came out in 2011, I believe. And it's actually no joke. Just opened it up randomly, saw it was autographed by Jim Moffat. I believe Joe Casey was the writer on Godland. Tom Scioli. Forever Loving Jaw. Haven't read this yet. Looking forward to it though. Check that out. So what's that say? Think you might need a little herbal inspiration. Maybe put you in touch with your roots, you dig? The effects are slow but steady, an activation of sorts, occurring deep within Sedona's being, much like the day he arrived on this planet. The power he feels, indescribable, alien. The mana locked inside his cells. Suddenly unlocked, dormant no more, the ancient hymns of Yelram vibrating through his soul. To call to action. He who was once merely Sedona is now Marijuanaman. Yeah. And on that note, I float. Thanks a lot for watching. Checking out my wares at Comic Book Hall 69, Part 28. Till next time, much love. Peace.